Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. You are at your favorite spot, the location, the place, where the conversations are pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Today, we have the brand, as she clearly told me a few minutes ago, Celeste Moore. I'm so excited to have her because she is a brand strategist. She really helps people with image consulting. And what I really like about it is that she works with men. Men need to know the proper tie to wear, how to present themselves, haircut, what's trending, but also how does that brand represent their business? How is that going to carry them to the next level? How are people going to recognize them? That's so important. And that's our personal branding as well. A lot of people talk about marketing, but you see their branding is all over the place. So she's going to help us streamline that and a whole lot more. Welcome her to the show. How are you, Celeste?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for having me today.
Yeah,
Hello,
I forgot
brains.
to tell them that you are a podcaster too, right?
Yes, ma'am, I am. I have a podcast called The Down and Dirty,
Ooh.
and I am rebranding a little bit. I do talk about everything, relationships, dating, because I am also a dating coach. So, but I love the personal branding part. That's really where my passion is. And I really like helping entrepreneurs and CEOs really create and refine their style.
Well, all of that kind of goes together because 90% of the time when you meet somebody or you go somewhere, you're sending out your representative. People always talk about this authentic stuff. Well, do you want to see me when my hair's not done, no makeup on, my gym clothes? What is the real authenticity of an individual? And when you work with people and creating a brand, you help pull that out. What are some of the characteristics that we should look for or that we should highlight when we are trying to create a signature brand?
Yes, that's a good question. So, what I do is very customized because each individual has a color that works for their undertone of their skin, based on their eyes, based on their hair color. And also, the first and foremost is their personality. So, your color is personality DNA, is the very, very first quality or step that I take in representing what colors best suit you. And with that, I also teach on color psychology because each color represents and sends a message. It's the first thing we notice. It happens within milliseconds, and then it's really defining your style house because there's 8 to 9 different style houses, and we have a dominant one and we have a secondary. And what that means is also personality, lifestyle, and things that you're drawn to for a certain reason. It can be accessories, it can be a style of clothing. And so having all of these pieces together is really creating your authentic brand, but it's also taking those pieces and putting them all together. And no matter if you are at the gym or at home or, going to a meeting or possibly a date, you know who you are and you're representing yourself based on all of the pieces that I'm teaching you.
Mm-hmm. Now you're teaching us how to define it and outline it, but
Correct.
carrying it forward into our marketing, into our print ads, into our social media, and being consistent. That drives me crazy. I work with people too. I only coach 5 people a year, but that's the first thing I drill down on is be consistent. You will
Mhm.
have 15 different fonts. Everything doesn't need to be, italics or cursive. You will have, again, a color palette that's all over the place. You'll have one for your speaking. You'll have one for your product. You'll have one for your recreation. It should be seamless. Don't you agree? Don't you think that it should be consistent across the board? I mean, Coca-Cola doesn't change their look. Nike doesn't
Oh, yeah.
change their look. What's
Yes.
your thoughts on that?
Well, they're consistent for a reason, right? When you're creating a brand, you want to have that and be in sync with every part of your life, in every avenue, marketing, your digital presence, your in-person presence. And like you said, you want the same colors, you want the same fonts. You want to make sure your message is the same in all avenues. And you're right, it's something that I've learned a long time ago is also keeping the same picture in your social media, each social media account so that people can find you. So you're creating that brand on so many different levels. And it's really important that it really aligns with your personal brand and how you want to represent because you are that marketing tool in the beginning. And so that just relays everything into, like you said, the website, the social media, and in person.
I think you gave a great definition to my next question. What is a brand?
Hmm.
Branding came out, I guess maybe I've really seen it kind of trending in the last 8, 9 years, maybe 10 years, where people have really put an imprint. They stamped who they are, what they do. It used to just be called marketing. But a brand is what you represent, who you are, your morals, your values, the bottom line figure, your work ethic, your integrity. You know, again, people they're quick to say, "Oh, I don't want that particular spokesperson because they're not aligned with our brand. They're not aligned with our messaging." Don't you think that that's very significant and people should be very careful of that once they build a brand?
Yes, 100%. You know, it really is about how you want to show up in this world and how you are, what you're doing to show up. And I know that's very vague, but it's really hits every avenue of the market. And yes, so a good friend of mine, she is a very big speaker now, but when she started to speak on stage, she used to get turned down because of the way that she was dressing. She was very firm and she didn't want to change. And so she lost a lot of gigs. But she eventually made her way and works and speaks on some stages. But think about this. I think the really important thing is what are your goals? And you said that your values definitely align and your beliefs, but what are your goals as a personal brand, as a business? And how do you want to show up to achieve those goals? And I always say dress 1 to 2 times above your audience
Mm-hmm.
because you want to be similar, but you still want to be elevated. Know
Absolutely.
your message, know what you want to say to this group and who is your group, right? Based on that, you can you can really um, have the upper hand, if you will, right? So that you can show up based on colors, on the things that you wear, your body language, nonverbal, verbal communications. That is huge. Eye contact, handshakes, the way that you're standing, the way that you're speaking, all make a
The way that you
difference.
smell.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
yes.
I had to put that in there. Sometimes, brains, and I say this with love, you got the dragon breath.
Mm,
That is the first thing that comes out. What you do is whether you put your hand uh in front of your mouth and smell it or not, always have a mint. Always have a
yes.
mint. It is, or your personal body odor. I have run into people that have just changed out of the gym clothes, hasn't seen a bar of soap or water. Oh, well, I'm not going to be standing close to people. That is a key indicator. Ladies, your hands and your fingernails. Either the polish is on or it's off. Chipped up nail polish or rough hands. Use some lotion.
Mm.
These are just little things during networking or a basic introduction people pay attention to. They really pay
Oh,
attention
yes.
to that. And it can be a deal breaker. It can
Hmm.
absolutely be a deal breaker. How
You
did
make
you
a
find?
really good. So can I just you made such
Absolutely.
a really great point. I have to add one more thing in there is perfume because that is an accessory or a cologne. So if you're going to wear perfume or cologne, make sure you just use one spritz when it comes to networking because too much can either give a headache or actually turn some people off. So just be very cognizant of your body odor, the way, yes, exactly. And if you're a smoker, that also can be really people think that they can hide it, but it's really potent. So if you're going to a meeting, just don't smoke before, just smoke after.
Yeah, smoke after, or I know that you're probably nervous and anxious or whatever, but look at the long term.
Hmm.
long term, how that's going to resonate. How did you find yourself in this space, Celeste? Tell us a little bit about your history and what made you want to be an image consultant.
Yeah, thank you. After I graduated college, I realized that law school was not the direction for me. Everybody else wanted me to go and, be a lawyer, and I started taking the LSAT, and I said, you know what? This is just not for me. I'm a very creative person, and I just knew that to be happy, I really needed to start delving into some of my passions. And really, the first one was I've always been drawn to quality clothes. I've always dressed people. I always knew that like my father was from the South. We always had really great manners, etiquette. I learned from a young age. And then one day my mom said, well, why don't you go get, qualified, go get certified and do this as a career? And I was like, well, wow, people get paid for this. I was like, this is like the most fun thing ever. And so went and got certified and about 17 years ago. And I started working with business people. And then I was like, okay, this is okay. It's a little boring. So I started working more into the dating side of things, which was a lot of fun. But now I find myself as I'm getting my master's right now, and I'm an ambassador for the only globally accredited and certified program in the world. So it's a
Wow.
really high esteemed
Mhm.
training program. And as I'm getting my master's, I'm really coming back to this is just like the personal branding is actually what I truly, truly love and passionate about. So yeah.
Well, you're doing a fantastic job. I mean, I'm just kind of looking at you and I'm giving you the one over really good. I mean, I'm looking at, well, your background, your presence, your poise, you got beautiful eyes, your pinstripe. I mean, you are the cream of the crop. And I can see how you enjoy what you do because you represent that. And that's what I encourage you to do, Brains, is be a representation of what you love. When I invest in a coach, I want to see it exuding out of their pores. I don't want you to come and try to redesign me and tell me what you think I should be. I want you to enhance me. I don't want to be under your tutelage for 5 or 10 years. I want to outgrow you. I don't want to make what you're making. I want to make more than you. That is why you hire people to look at your situation and who you are with an eagle eye. They've got that helicopter view. They're looking down on what other individuals that don't know you see. We get so caught up in the me or I am conversation that you forget that you are really representing yourself to a much larger audience. Is that correct?
Oh, wow. You said it so beautiful. Just very eloquent. Yeah, you nailed it.
Yeah, and it's very true. And we can't get it's
Mhm.
like authors, I tell them all the time. They get bored with their book and they've got 2 or 3 books and they never sold the first one. Well, it's like giving birth. You may have a big ugly baby, but it's still your baby.
Mm.
Hey, but you have an opportunity to redefine it, to get a different haircut, to, change the clothes, change the style. And I think that that's very important too. You see a lot of these celebrities. I work in Hollywood. And these celebrities reinvent themselves all the time. My first question to you is when you establish a brand, how long do you think that you should carry that brand before you try to rebrand? Because me, I love my brand. It's iconic. People know when they see that logo or on the edge, they know that they're talking to me. I don't have a need to rebrand. But some people like to reinvent themselves. What does that look like in today's environment?
Yeah, so the people that want to reinvent themselves, there's something that doesn't fit and they're not in alignment with who they are. And maybe at that point in time, they wanted their business name to be something fun and exciting and explain the business. So, just a bit of information. I really think that you should brand yourself because you're never going to change your name. You're never going to, Nike's different because Nike, and Nike never rebranded because if
Right.
you rebrand something that big, it just, you completely lose it.
Mm-hmm.
So, if we all pivot as entrepreneurs in our life, we can constantly, make sure that we are on top of our game. We are improving ourselves. We have self growth. There's always going to be some changes and pivots, but I think which is a necessary a force, if you will, to have as a business owner. You must always keep up with things, and I don't mean with the latest fashion, because style is different. Style will always work for you. Your style will always work for you if you know and you've hired someone like me who will help you craft that style. But if you're trying to chase fashion trends, by the time you put on the outfit that's in the magazine, it's out of date, it's out of fashion. So don't chase the fashion trends. It never works. But yeah, you can always update your hair. You can, even color if you choose to. You can invest in really great suits. There's all different ways that you can still be your brand and be your best self.
Okay, that's perfect because they're looking at friends like mine. I know the Kardashians, and so KK and them, they can afford to do it. They've got a stylist that's going to, and a lot of that stuff is comped. Louis
Hmm.
Vuitton wants that brand new bag or that jacket or this and that. So they're giving them those things. So if you're trying to keep up with the influencers, unless you really have that in your arsenal, I suggest, like Celeste says, is just to be very consistent, even keeled across the board. Because if someone pulls up something that says on the edge with April Mahoney, that logo is going to stick, the face is going to stick, the colors are going to stick, they know that they've run into the right place. There's a lot of April Mahoney's when you Google online, but when you see that iconic logo, that is definitely. Talk to us a little bit about logos because people they don't even know where to begin. How do you
Hmm.
kind of, what some people use just words, some people use images, some people use colors. Is that also a part of your personal brand?
So definitely colors are very important because like I said, it's the first thing that you notice, whether it's in a logo, it's on a jacket, it's in your home as a decoration, and color is energy. So depending on the energy, the vibe that you want, color is definitely important. And so as far as logos, that's very personal. I think that it must also represent you and your style and what the message you want to say. So those are very important. Definitely color is my specialty. I don't work necessarily on the logo itself, but
Mhm.
the messaging should be very clear in your logo.
Right. And it shouldn't be, overwhelming or cluttered or, again, like your
Right.
website with 15 different fonts. And, you are trying to, again, you're trying to solidify an
Hmm.
identity. You're not trying to be
Correct.
just whimsical with it. Now, you've taken your style, you've taken colors, you've taken your talent, you've taken your degrees, and you jumped into the dating arena. I know that that's kind of not your focus right now, but you're a
Mhm.
dating coach. What is going on in the world of dating? I've been married 40 years. I have no idea even what one of these dating websites looks like. What is going on with that? And it's pretty, I don't know. I say scary to me because I couldn't necessarily fall in love with a text message. Uh,
Mm.
I couldn't be very intimate with a sex text. I couldn't be very trusting with someone that never Zoomed with me or, I've never met them in person. What is the dating scene like now?
Yeah, that's such a great question. So I focus my clients midlife, right? So they've either been married and divorced, or maybe they've been married to the career. So dating for them is a little muddy. They don't know how to navigate that. And yes, there are a plethora of websites where you're meeting quite a bit of people, but like you said, you don't know who they are, if they're actually a real person. And on that note, I have affiliated with Bright Check. He was on my podcast and he created an app to basically all you need is a first person's name and a phone number, and you can find out live nationally if they have any kind of record. And
Really?
I mean, I mean, the Vegas thing, right? If you got arrested in Vegas last night and you came back to LA, and you would be able to determine whether that person had a record and whether or not they're a scammer, a bot, anything like that. And so based on, and you find out so much information, if they're married, if they're not, if they say who they are. It's very, very specific, and it's also attaches their socials, so they can't get away from being who they are. And I know that sounds maybe a little invasive, but it's also a safety mechanism. And today in this world, when a lot of scams are happening, a lot of crazy, scary stuff, like you said, this is just a tool that I think, is absolutely necessary. And it's very affordable. It's like $7 a check. So that means if you're going on a date and you think this is the person for you, you just go into this app, you put in their name and their number, and see if anything comes up.
Wow. See that?
But yeah, yeah.
And it,
Mhm.
it's kind of disheartening. You used to sit at the end of the bar and bat your eyes and cross your legs and, again, smell good. Somebody send you a drink, and now you got to watch the drinks. I'm hearing of all these
Mhm.
different narcotics now. Here in San Diego, they have now implemented these straws that you can take and put in your drink. And if it has been tainted in any kind of way, it'll turn a color. And so the bartenders are required to provide that because you don't know what people intentions are, ladies
Yes.
as well
Yeah.
as men.
Mhm.
Men can be taken advantage of. A lot of your clients are men.
True.
What are they
Mhm.
saying? Because now, I don't know, after the Me Too movement, I like a man to tell me I look pretty, or I smell good, or I got a nice smile. But now they're walking a thin line because they've been emasculated, or if you said that, you crossed the line. How are they feeling in this environment?
Yeah, I think there is a little bit of confusion. Like you said, they're a little confused on how to re-enter this dating world with still very much being a man, but kind of tiptoeing around certain subjects. What I suggest, I think everybody should still flirt. Everyone wants to feel desired. It's okay to, as a man listening here today, it's okay to tell a woman that she has a beautiful smile. You can, those are indications that you are desirable or you're interested in someone. And there's all different ways in which you can approach a woman without feeling awkward or weird, because we still want to be a little bit chaste. There is still that raw animalistic part of us that will never go away. It's just a little bit different strategy today.
Okay, here's a tough question with all of this difference and wanting to
Mhm.
be chased. Um, we got people on the down low. We've got people that are masking their identity. I don't know. I You need to be honest, okay? You don't know what another person is into. They might be all looking for that. You don't know. But being honest is being honest with yourself, not the other individual. Being safe, being secure, having a level of integrity. Do you find that people, and not anyone in particular, but do you find that people are still masking their identity as they're
Mhm.
dating?
Yes, I really truly believe they are, because they're trying to be someone that they think the other person will want them to be.
Mhm.
And this is where it becomes problematic, because if you go into any kind of situation, date, whatever, yes, safety is first and foremost, but okay, now that you feel safe, own who you are, because when you don't, you're not going to meet your person. If you're pretending, if you're giving different vibes or you're different information to that person because you think they're attractive or you want them to like you, it's never going to work out. The truth always comes out, and then at that point you're not trusted. So go into a situation, start dating, have fun. that's what I tell people. Don't stress about the first couple dates. Just see if you're liking someone, if they're a vibe for you, if you want to go on a second date with them, get to know them. Don't bring any of the like heaviness with you on those first couple dates.
Oh
And
yeah,
moving forward,
talking
just
about talking about the ex. Ooh, don't come
don't do
talking.
it.
Don't come
Mm-mm.
in talking to me. The first 20 minutes about your ex person.
Big no.
No, or your bills or your finances, because we're going to check that out on the app.
Yeah,
We're
exactly.
gonna get to know you. Exactly. We're gonna get to know if you were in Vegas gambling, or you were at a brothel, or you have
Right.
a secret identity. So that's crazy. Tell us a little bit about the podcast.
Yeah, so the podcast is 2 years, over 100 plus episodes. So I'm very proud of myself. I started this very green, let me tell you. I've learned so much. I'm so blessed for all the guests that have been on the show, because it really has been such a great space to talk about, open and honest space. I want everybody to know, non-judgmental. We've had, sex coaches, we've had therapy coaches, mindfulness coaches, all sorts of people on the show to talk about how to best be in relationships, communication coaches, how do we be our best selves? And sometimes it's looking at the things that we don't want to talk about, but it's such a great space. There's going to be a little bit of shift and rebrand where it's going to focus a little bit also including entrepreneurship, the personal branding. So we're going to talk about elevating, how we can elevate and be our best selves in all areas of our relationships and lives. So yeah, it's a great show. There's some really great guests. So if anybody here, your brains want to jump on and take a listen, I think they'll
Oh,
get something from one of the episodes for sure.
this is a strange question, but I'm gonna ask you anyway. What do you think about people having relationships that work together? My mother used to always say, "Oh, baby, you don't get your milk and honey where you make your money." but
Oh, that's a good one.
but
Hmm.
the thing of it is you work with these people 40, 50 hours a week. I'm not saying having extramarital affairs.
Hmm.
Sometimes that happens because those employees or coworkers become your confidant. You're away from the wife, and now you're pouring into it. Oh, are you okay? Well, let's go to lunch. Let's talk about it. And then the vetting and the courting starts. And then the grooming starts. One thing leads to another. But I see there's absolutely nothing wrong with two people that are single that find an interest in each other in the workplace. What do
Hmm.
you think about that? I mean, people are losing their jobs over that.
Oh, that's a very sticky situation. I've experienced that myself when I was younger. And it never worked out for me, but I'm not saying that it won't work out for someone. I think if you can create still a workplace and not bring in the relationship,
Right.
part of it, and keep that outside. And I don't mean it has to be like you don't know the person and work, but the moment you bring in any kind of like yuckiness or toxicity or any kind of drama, the workplace doesn't want that. So I think that's probably why they're having a lot of issues. And then of course there's all the sexual harassment. They have to be
Right, because
very
if it doesn't work
careful.
out, yeah, if it doesn't work out, I'm gonna sue you because
Exactly.
we were in the bathroom stall together. That's crazy.
Oh man.
So this is so much fun. I want to ask you some fun questions about you. Is
Yes,
it okay?
definitely.
If you could time travel, Celeste, where would you land? Would it be in the past? Would you stay in the present, or would you go to the future, and why?
Ooh, that's very good. Oh man, that's a difficult one. I don't know if I want to go in the past. I do miss moments of my daughter being young. That's probably those moments I just time freeze when she was 3 or 4. But I think maybe I'm happy right where I'm at. I know the future is going to be amazing, and like the universe is going to put me where it wants to be. And so I'm just kind of here for the ride right now.
All right, I'm futuristic. I want to go, go, go. I've already been there, done that, seen all that
Yes.
stuff. The present is a great place, but I'm hoping
Hmm.
that my present is preparing me for my future. If
Ooh, I
you
like
were an
that.
appliance in the kitchen, what appliance would you be and why?
Ooh, I would be the fridge, the refrigerator. because I feel like it preserves everything, keeps everything nice and fresh.
Okay, that's good. I want to be the air fryer. I want to
Ooh,
be I want to be quick, hot, little bit of grease, steamy, and keep it crispy. Oh
ooh, I like
yeah.
that. Yes.
If your words had an odor, what would they smell like?
Hmm. It'd be sweet. It'd be a little tart and a little crunchy and a little soft. I don't know. That's a good one. I think a little bit of each, a little bit of everything.
All right, that's good. If you were an animal, what animal would you be?
Well, if this was a real animal, it is what I am in the Chinese year. It's the only one that's not a legit animal. It's a dragon. And I really,
Hmm,
really vibe with the dragon. The dragon is creative. It's very, it has a presence. And that is kind of who I am.
that's yeah, and the dragon is very powerful. I'm on my way to Thailand, so I will definitely connect with you on my way back and let you know
Love that.
a lot to learn about what people say is a mystical animal, but I really believe that there were dragons in the days of the dinosaur. I don't know.
I do too.
Maybe we could time travel and go back and check it out. If you
Yes.
had three wishes, anything, anything in the world, what would they be?
I wish for endless safety for my family and friends. I would wish for love and abundance for my friends and family and for my jet plane that I'm going to be buying, but I'm going to be buying one day.
That's right. That's right. I just looked into that. There's a private jet plane company that you
Uh-huh.
can join. And I was like, oh, this is pretty bougie. Let me save my pennies. I don't know if I want all the expense and the responsibility of a jet, but you never know.
Hmm.
What do you want your legacy to be? How do you want to be remembered?
Mm. I want to be known as the woman that had that safe space for men to be vulnerable and also the best, beautiful, amazing mother ever.
Well, I think that you're well on your way. Absolutely. I
Thank
can
you.
see it in
Thank
your
you.
eyes. I can hear it in your voice inflection and by the work that you do. Brains, I want you to connect with Celeste Moore. I want you to tap into her podcast. I want you to consult with her, be it your image, your brand, a consultation. Take a look at it. Let somebody else look at what you've created to enhance you, not redesign you, but make it better for you. Men, don't be vulnerable. We still love you. Absolutely. But we want you to be honest and ethical, you know, and pay for a dinner. Open the door for us, come and pick us
Yes.
up. Exactly. Ask my father to marry you to if you can marry me. All of these things are still, they may seem old fashioned, but they're our core values. That is who we are. Tell my brains how to get in contact with you, Celeste, please.
Yes. Celeste Moore Image on Instagram. You can find me at celestemore.com. That's my website. Celeste Moore LinkedIn and the Down and Dirty podcast on all platforms. So, yeah, thank you very much for having me today.
You are the best. I am going to put all of her contact information at the back of the interview. We're going to put it down at the show notes. I want you to go in and take a listen to it. I'm going to take a listen to it. There's some things that I can learn because there's some things that I didn't know. Also, you want to go back and listen to that previous episode about the app because, again, it's a different world. So you got to have a different strategy. Go right here. You see this address? I need you to love, like, share, and subscribe to my podcast as well as Celeste. You didn't pay to get up in here. The least you could do is pay attention. Have a good day. Thanks so much, Celeste. You're the best.
Thank you.
Bye, brains.